Evening everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. Welcome back to SAFRL. And this time we're here for Tier 2. Obviously a lot of these same talking points as Monday night. Guys need to get out there early. If that first run doesn't go as planned, it's a long race circuit, takes a long time to get around here for an out lap and an in lap. So you can't spend too much time in the pits. And as you can see, busy racetrack. Obviously one of the most famous circuits on the calendar. Spa-Francorchamps, Belgium. One of the tracks on the original 1950 calendar. Of course, it looked a little different back then. It was a 14-kilometer circuit. Also two very famous first wins here. One more recently, Charles Leclerc got his first victory here in Belgium. Michael Schumacher got his first victory in Belgium. Just 2 cars remaining in the pits of the 19. We've got 17 runners out on track. And in a couple of minutes from now, that timing sheet is going to fill up very quickly. Maybe Loki and Top Gun just looking at the track, seeing how busy it is and thinking they have a better chance of going out when these guys are done. But obviously there's that risk that if you get it wrong. Another thing we saw on Monday night was penalties. And they can really come back to bite you. Some of the guys were stacking up penalties as early as lap 2. So something these guys will want to watch out for in the race. This is Rockwell in the Haas. Much better livery this time around in 2024. It's going to open up DRS. This is his first go at it. No lap times as of yet on the screen. Give me some predictions, give me some predictions. Hello everybody in the comment section already. Madwell, Revolution, Death Queen, Jevon. Did I give every, oh there, Ivan. Welcome to everyone, welcome to, of course, Madwell. Madwell is going to be joining me next week as a guest commentator here for Tier 2. So look forward to that. People know a lot more about strategy than I do. That's the first lap time of the night's 42.5. That's for the AlphaTauri. I've had predictions of poles somewhere in the 41s. Nobody committed to a high 41 or a low 41. They just told me a 41 ... So somewhere in the 41s, and the fastest time so far is a 42.5. We have a McLaren facing the wrong way. And that's why I say you've got to get out there early. Your first run can go bad so quickly. Mr. Rem now has fallen under the DSQ column. I'm going to assume that was the McLaren we saw facing the wrong way. And while I don't know for certain, I think he may have probably just been avoiding getting in the other car's way, and it just took him a little too long to get going, and the game disqualified him. I've seen somebody getting disqualified for getting beached on a curb. They simply couldn't get off. I think it was in Monza. Times keep coming in. The fastest time is still that time from Maggot at 42.5. He's now followed by Pantry Star. Pantry Star is your championship leader. And in the Drivers' Championship, he's being chased by the two McLarens. Moller also not far behind in fourth. Going back to that Drivers' Championship, Pantry Star leads the championship, but it's really not much of a lead. He leads the championship by 1 point, and then Mr. M is a further 8 points behind his teammate. So nothing in it, just 9 points between the top three. Maggot has retired from the session. Not sure if that was an incident or if that was voluntary. I'm not sure what happened over here, but Maggot has retired from the session, so he won't play any further part, and he'll hope that that 42.5 is decent enough to give him a good grid slot. But pretty much everyone out on track is going to be looking for improvements. We have a Haas doing some FIA WRC, giving the slicks an off-road test. Not sure how the slicks would work in rally. So Maggot still leads, but remember he has retired from the session, so that lap time cannot come down. So everyone else on track does have an opportunity. Pantry Star's in the pits. Ace of Pace is on an out lap. Current best 42.9. It's 4 tenths away from pole position. So I have the two Mercedes. They've crept up into 4th and 5th. I didn't notice that. One in the second row, one in the third row. That would be a good start for the Mercedes team. We also have the two Williams in P6, P8. And also the two Red Bulls, both in the points. But probably on the wrong side of the points they'd like to be on. They'd like to be 1st and 2nd, not 9th and 10th. Emulating Max and Sergio. Well, if you're going to try and emulate a Verstappen, try and emulate Max Verstappen, not the other one. Jos is a bit of a... Let's leave it there. Sitting nicely, those two Mercedes, P4, P5. Obviously, when you've got that teammate, always have a little bit of assistance on track if your teammate is near you. But if this turns out to be anything like Monday night, we are going to have some very close racing, and judging by these lap times, these lap times are pretty close. So I think again, like Monday night, if the qualifying pace translates to race pace, we're going to have a super fast race tonight. Obviously at this circuit, safety cars, well, they've happened many times, and not only on the game, they've happened in real life. I think this track's got like a 60% safety car chance, or it's something crazy. It's like more often than not, there's a safety car in Belgium. And usually there's more than one. Was it 1998 that half the field got taken out at this? I can't remember what year that was, but yeah. There was a race where I think more than half the field got wiped out. Luckily back then, there was no such thing as a budget cap, and teams had 3 cars. So you could simply jump into the spare car, which could be quickly adapted to either driver. This is the Alpha Tauri, ace of pace, currently in P4, 142.9. Goes over the line and improves into provisional pole just by enough, a 142.4. The gauntlet has been lowered, and everyone else on track is now going to have to find that little bit more. Maggot will be sitting on the sidelines. Ooh, I see Pantry Star's car jumping around a little bit. Tiley Boy has also retired from the session, won't play any further part. Madwell from where? Saying a 141 is coming, but from where? Who's going to make the 41 first? Out on track currently, Pantry Star. Saw his car jumping around a little bit earlier, but seems to have stabilized. That's a purple second sector. And as he enters sector 3, the momentum is with him. Might even get a bit of a tow here. Hopefully that car knows he's there. Yes, he is. Gets out of the way just in time. Doesn't look like he was impeded in any way. Just enough of the apex, not too much curb. And he goes over the line to improve to a 141.7. There we go. He said it. He said it was coming up, and there it is. 141.7. And very nicely done. Here we have Gotzi, currently P8, a 143.2. Goodness me, look at those lap times. From P6 down to P10. There is a 1/10 of a second covering 4 cars. Some very close times in the midfield. This is Captain Morgan. He's currently in P12. He's on an outlap looking to improve. He's got a mid 43, 43.5. I agree. I'm sure that toe down the back straight really helped him out. And then obviously that car got out of the way just in time not to impede him in any way. So it worked out quite nicely. Pantry Star, the only driver in the 41s tonight. 41.7 on provisional pole, ace of pace. P2, he's in the pits. Welsh P3, also in the pits. Sorry, Welsh is P4. Maggot is still in P3, but remember he has retired from the session. So if he falls down that order, he is powerless to change that. This is Ace of Pace. He's out on track yet again. Not happy with second place. He wants a 41 of his own. He wants provisional pole. This is Ace of Pace, and we're going to have to keep our eyes on him. He's currently on an outlap. And he'll be winding up for a big one. Here is Loki. Currently P5, 42.9. 2/10 ahead of his teammate. Wanky's in P6. Teammates Linus Stern here. Merckx 5-6. Ferraris 7-8. Pole sitter remains in the pits with 2 minutes remaining. Is he going to go for one more go? He's leaving it awfully late. This is Ace of Pace, currently in P2. Just to let a car by there. Currently in P2, coming towards the end of his outlap. Batteries charged up. New set of slicks. Probably only has enough fuel to get back to the pits and nothing more. Going to start his lap now. Here we go, over the line and into turn 1. Now you'll see those 2 cars in front of him. Hopefully doesn't affect him at all. Doesn't look like he was affected there. And opens up DRS. The AlphaTauri, now known as the RB. I'm not calling it the V-Carb. It's the RB. Pantry Star still leads, and he has remained in the pits. He's not going out again. Wonder if he's saving a set of tyres. Maybe he wants 2 set of softs in the race. Ace of Pace, on the other hand, he has not settled for second place. He's having another go. Checkered flag has fallen. So everyone who crossed that checkered flag, crossed the line before the checkered flag, is going to be able to finish their lap. But I think any cars that see they're not going to improve, you'll just see a bunch of cars streaming off into the pit lane. There we go, Ace of Pace stays out there, so you must see some sort of an improvement. Pantry Star goes fastest, Welsh goes second, Ace of Pace goes second and splits the Aston Martins. And that was the quickest change in the timing screen I've ever seen. Mola into P2. But so far, if something doesn't dramatically change in the closing stages, is there anyone still pushing? Here is Loki. For now, it seems like Pantry Star has done enough with that only time in the 141s. Loki over the line, and he goes 42 flat. Oh, so close. So close to being the second driver in the 41s. And that means there's 2/10 between the front row. Seems like I thought he was coming in. Seems like a checkered flag has fallen for everyone. And there we go. I believe that is your quali session. There's someone out on track. It seems like only one driver was able to break into the 41s. And Loki coming very close, about 500ths of a second away from getting a 41. So there are your official results. Pantry Star taking pole position. Loki will join him on the front row. Then on the second row we have Moller, and alongside him Ace of Pace. Then in P5 we have Welsh. He's followed by Andre, Cyber, Maggot, Essa, and Gotzi makes up the top 10. Not in the top 10, they're going to have a hands-full race. Captain Morgan P11, Skull P12, Boinkies 13, Spikes 14, Chums 15, Rockwell 16, Top Gun 17, Tiley Boy 18, and Mr. M was disqualified from that session. I think he's going to have a tough race ahead of him, and he'll be hoping for some safety cars and some crazy shenanigans to happen in front of him. There we go, we're back, and that was qualifying, and now it's time for the real thing. It's time for 22 laps around this 7-kilometer circuit. And if you prefer classic tracks over street tracks, it doesn't get much better than this. Four red lights, 5 red lights. There we go, we're underway. It's going to be Aston Martin versus Mercedes, but the Mercedes has already dropped back. Moller claims P2. Ace of Pace. Was there any sort of contact? There is contact. There's a Mercedes facing the wrong way. Not quite sure what happened there. Pantry Star leads the way. Moller P2. Ace of Pace P3. Welsh in P4. Andre makes up the top 5. Andre doesn't want to wait for DRS, wants to make up positions on lap 1, decides against it. That AlphaTauri gets very close to the gearbox. Pretty sure they touched, but it was gentle enough not to break anything. And there again, AlphaTauri just getting forced a little wide. Seems like the McLaren braked a little earlier than he expected. Loki picks up a 5-second time penalty. That is for... Okay, you don't see that one very often. That is for ignoring yellow flags. So I presume he overtook a car under a yellow flag. Don't know who he overtook. He's in P18. Back at the front, Moller. It's all over the back of Pantry Star, and if he's able to stay with Pantry Star like this for now, we know that when DRS comes, he's going to have absolutely no issues. And as you can see from the two leaders, battery management is brilliant so far. Practically identical levels. Look at this, there's a whole bunch of cars here. Leading the way, Ace of Pace, behind him, Welsh, Essa, Andre, Morgan, Skull. Unfortunately, it's lap 2. Well, this would be one heck of a DRS train. Obviously, in 2024, that's this year, DRS rules have changed. We have a retirement, folks. We have a retirement. Is this going to be? Hopefully not. And I don't believe it is. The yellow flag has disappeared, but Andre becomes the first retirement. We're going to go down from 19 drivers Yellow flag is back. Doesn't seem like we're going to get any sort of safety car, but Andre has retired from the race. At the back, we have Maggot, P18, Mr. Rem. Remember, he started right at the back of the field because of that disqualification. So he's got a lot of work to do. Boinky 16. The only Alfa Romeo here tonight. Essa P15 and Tylee Boy. It's up in 14th. Spikes 13, Cyber 12, Gotzi desperately trying to get himself into that top 10. Pantry Star, he'll be looking at that time and he'll be shaking his head. He wanted that time to be just over a second so that DRS would not play a part. But he hasn't been able to do that. The gap is 7/10, and that means Moller is going to have DRS. And on a track like Spa, it's simply a matter of time. So apparently Andre's retirement was as a result of contact with an Alfa Romeo. I suppose that Alfa Romeo was Essa, because there is only one Alfa Romeo. At the front, Pantry Star, 8/10 of a second. He's going to be desperately trying to get that over a second. It's close, it's 9/10. Moller needs to keep it below the second mark. Loki has retired. We now have a safety car, lap 3 of 22. I don't know. I think the safety car may be a bit too early to affect anyone's strategy unless you have damage on the car and you want to come in. Look at that. We already have a few pit stops at the back there. Boinkies has already done 2. Mr. Rem and Maggot, 1 apiece. See, and that's the thing, when you get a safety car early on in the race, you can't do the jump into the pits idea. Those tyres are fresh, they still have a job to do. So it's too early to get that free pit stop. Safety car is not as useful in the beginning of the race as it is in the middle or towards the end. And we've seen what happens if we get a safety car towards the end and half the field have penalties. The finishing order changes before our very eyes as they cross the checkered flag. Muller saying, obviously, on the strategies going deeper into the race. I think I agree. If you look at the tyre selection, most of the field is on mediums. Second most popular compound is hards, and then just 2 drivers currently on the soft tyre. So I think most of these drivers would have had the intention of going as long into the race as possible. Problem is, if you do get too many safety cars in a race like this and you're playing the long game, safety car coming out, slowing you down, closing all the gaps, that is everything you don't want to happen when you're trying to play the long game. I said it on Monday, I'll say it again. Drivers at the front, they won't be too appreciative of safety cars at this stage. Drivers at the back, they get a second go at it. Remember, Boinkies had to make a pit stop. Lost a large amount of time to the car in front of him, and this is going to allow him back into that queue. And then really anything can happen from there. At least you're in contact with other drivers. You're not 25 or 30 seconds down the road from anyone. So it gives you that second chance, that second opportunity. The safety car is staying out for another lap. Seems like the queue is actually just about to come together. But we will have one more lap. Around the 7-kilometer circuit, which probably feels incredibly slow behind this safety car. This is not even funny anymore. Why is it that every time there's a race with an Aston Martin safety car, there happens to be an Aston Martin in first place? I mean, it was a joke for a while, the Aston Martin P1, P2, but seriously, it's all the time. Look at that. Aramco all over the place. Obviously for now, race is neutralized. Can be no overtaking. One thing that's good about an early safety car is if you've overdone it on the first few laps and you have almost no battery left, everybody is able to charge up. And for drivers who didn't underfuel, these long safety car laps around Belgium, they could be carrying a little bit extra weight at the end that they didn't want. Yeah, no, it's the thing is, like, I'm not even repeating the joke anymore. I'm just pointing it out. It's like, I mean, I promise you, if it was a Merc safety car, there wouldn't be an Aston Martin in the lead. I'm just saying. I think we have, I didn't see it, but I think we have got confirmation of safety car in this lap, because the safety car is pulling off into the distance. Pantry Star already starting to back up that field. And as soon as that safety car enters pit lane, responsibility falls to the man in the lead. Pantry Star will decide when to go, and no one behind him can make a pass until the start-finish line. He's going to leave it late. Is he going to go? I think there he goes. Yes, he does. Ferrari P2, AlphaTauri P3, Williams P4, and then we have the pair of Red Bulls in P5 and 6. See how quickly things can change. I was saying they were on the wrong side of the top 10. 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That goes to Cyber. And you've got to wonder if that was somehow safety car related, making an overtake before the start finish line. It should then give you the opportunity to give the position back. Tiley Boy now falling down the order. There we go. Relieved to see he's back on his way. And his front wing is intact. So he's still very much in this race. Just a little bit of misfortune. A hiccup in the road. Or rather, if you're South African, a pothole in the road. Pantry Star leads the way from Moller. That gap 0.4 of a second. Really nothing in it. Ace of Pace just as close. 0.7 behind P2. Top 4 very close together. The Williams holding on to those podium positions for all he's got. But remember, the Williams, out of these 4 cars, the Williams in P4, that's the only car on the soft tyres. So he's going to have this superior grip, he's going to have this superior speed in the early stages of the race, but he's going to be the first car to lose it. So he's going to have to come into the pits earlier than the 3 cars in front of him. So Captain Morgan in the meantime in a great position in P4. Just seems a little out of sync on strategy with the drivers around him. Maybe it will be the one that reigns supreme. Garcia's made up a position, just made a pass. Ooh, there's a whole bunch of position changes here at the back. There's just as much action at the back as there is in the front, and sometimes I feel guilty for not giving these guys as much broadcast as I do at the front. I just wish I had multiple cameras. Look at this for a midfield battle. Second Williams, remember his teammate up in P4 on a set of softs. Spikes has chosen the more common strategy. As I'm speaking of Spikes, we see him go sideways. And there we go, just slowly to get going. And I wonder if that's what happened with Mr. M. Just slow to get going in qualifying, and there we go. I think that slow to get going caused the safety car. Am I right? Did I miss a retirement? I don't think I did. Andre retired and there was no safety car, and then there was a safety car for Loki. So yeah, there was no retirement. So I think that safety car was for the car that spun and then took a while to get going. Well, now there's a McLaren facing the wrong way, so we'll have a safety car for Mr. M because safety car got triggered for no reason. So one of the cars decided might as well give this safety car a purpose. Mr. M will be disappointed, as will Andre. Remember, that McLaren team is P2, P3 in the championship. And now, with 2 retirements on the night, means they will pick up no points. That is also the team that leads the Constructors' Championship by 64 points. And really, they're going to be losing a chunk of that tonight. For McLaren, it'll be extremely frustrating. For the rest of the championship, might just spice things up. As far as the Constructors' Championship, it might spice things up. As far as the Drivers' Championship, the man leading the championship leads the race with his 2 closest contenders out of the race. Obviously, Moller P4 in the championship, not too far behind on 80 points. And he's in P2. So both of these drivers, if they're able to finish in that order, could very well, Moller could pass the McLaren drivers in the championship if he were to stay there. So McLaren have just made life a little bit more difficult for themselves in this championship going further. Wanted to give themselves an extra challenge, open up the championship a bit more, and there we go. This time we don't have an Aston Martin leading. It's a Red Bull. Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. That is all the news. And none of it's got to do with their 1-2 last week. And obviously remember everybody, round 2, Formula 1 round 2 in Saudi Arabia this weekend. It's not on Sunday. It's going to be on Saturday as it was last week, so free practice 1 and 2, that's tomorrow already. Also, Saudi Arabia announcing the construction of a new circuit which will take over from Jeddah. And if you've seen the images, it's something nothing like on the calendar. I believe the incline up to turn 1 at Kota is something like 30 meters. No, 14 meters. I think it's 14 meters. And the lead up to turn 1 on this new Saudi circuit is going to be 20 stories. 20 stories, that's right. Turn 1 is going to be on a bridge, elevated high up in the air. Guess that's one corner you don't want to come off at. Skull leads the way. As you can see, the order has changed a lot. That's because drivers have come into the pits, changed their strategies around, gone with something else. A lot of those medium runners have come in, put on a set of hards. Moller, your leader, Pantry Star, Ace of Pace, they were all on mediums. They've come in, put on the hard. Tell me, anyone in the comment section, do you think if you're on a brand new set of hards right now, can you finish the race? Can you do? Surely you can. Another 12 laps. This race has gone by very quickly. The only thing missing from Belgium on Monday and Wednesday is rain. And that's pretty unrealistic. 2 races in Belgium with no rain in a row. Surely not. Wait a second. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. Is there? There's no one driving that safety car. Yeah. Oh. Is there someone in the driver's seat? Because I don't see someone in the driver's seat. That is very confusing. Who knows, maybe that's the next step in Formula One. Self-driving safety car. Built by EA Sports. Surely there won't be any glitches. Skull leads the way from Chums and Essa. They are going to be the top 3 cars at the restart. Those 3 cars are all on the hard compound, but I believe they started on the hard compound, so they're going to have to stop. Was it on? I don't know now. There's too many races. It was either on Monday night or it was the race on Sunday night. We actually had one driver that, as he went over the start-finish line to finish the race, he was disqualified, and it was because he hadn't used 2 compounds. Death Queen crying about the Orange Army. The Orange Army's doing just fine. Look, the Red Bull's out front. Orange Army. You really think all those grandstands are for Lando? Although Lando does like to joke that, look at all these fans that have come here for me. Not the best restart for Skull. He's actually lost a lot of positions, and that's as a result of those tyres being on the wrong side of their life. 10 laps already on the hard tyres. He gets jumped by 3 cars at the restart. Essa leads the way from Maggot. Welsh in P3. Welsh has a 7-lap old set of mediums. So I don't know how much further he's going to be going into the race, but now we have definite contact, terrible contact. It started off with the Aston Martin tapping the back. I didn't actually see which car that was, but now we have a Red Bull in the wall, we have an Aston Martin in the wall. The Red Bull is eliminated from the race, we just saw that. And the Aston Martin is going to have the opportunity to crawl back to the pits, make the crucial repairs that are needed, and we're under safety car for the 3rd time in a 22-lap race. It's really drivers to watch. Pantry Star, as I mentioned, leading the championship by just the 1 point. His 2 nearest competitors in P2 and 3, they're out of this race. They're not scoring any points tonight. Then Moller, he's the next contender. He's in 4th place. And he's still very much in this race. He's there in P3. So many safety cars, so close to each other. Can sometimes really confuse the drivers. You have a strategy in mind, and then every time a safety car comes out, it makes you think that strategy, rethink that strategy. Unfortunately, so we've had the 2 McLarens retiring from the race. Loki retired from the race, so we only have the 1 remaining Mercedes. Luckily for Mercedes, that Mercedes is up in P2. And we've also recently lost the Red Bull, down to 15 runners. If things were to end this way, then in the top 10 we would have double points for Williams, double points for AlphaTauri, double points for Haas. Well, at least both teammates scoring points, not double points. Evening Skull, I saw you here earlier on. That was before the race, but yeah, we actually saw your incident. And unfortunately there wasn't too much you could have done differently about the situation. You sort of ran into a situation. Well, that's at least what I saw on my side. Started off with a tap, caused the domino effect, and it gave us our 3rd safety car. Obviously every single driver out there on a fresh or even relatively fresh set of tyres is probably going to take this to the end of the race. That's why, surprisingly, your leader, Maggot, is on 10-lap old hards. Surely you can't take those to the end. Tell us, guys, in the comments, tyre life on the hards. What would be comfortable, what would be pushing it? Because we have Maggot P1, we have Chums P4, and both of them on an aging set of hards. And they're in good positions right now, but I wonder if they're going to be able to stay there, or if those tyres are going to fall off well before the end of the race. Don't worry, Skull, there's many more races to come. It's just the beginning. First race. So this is your debut. I get confused sometimes because some of you guys cross over into other leagues, and I commentate on all of them, and I'm like, I've commentated on him before, so I don't think, oh look, a debutant. I see the name and I'm like, oh yeah. But not the result you would have wanted on debut. But surely it can only go up from here. Speaking of, since we have so much safety car, I need to speak a bit of rubbish. Speaking of perfect debuts, man who almost got a perfect debut in 1997 was Jacques Villeneuve. The 1996 IndyCar and Indy 500 champion came over to, actually 1995, came over to Formula One in 1996. And on his debut race took pole position and finished P2. And that was only due to a hydraulic failure towards the end of the race where his team told him he needed to slow down, resulting in finishing in P2, or he would have been really the only driver I can think of to win on debut. Coming from Indy, that is quite rare. Maggot leads the way, but keep your eyes on those tyres because they're 11 laps old. Boinky's P2, but he also has aging tyres. So don't know if they're going to be able to keep that order. And there we go. Restart once more. This time Maggot has the responsibility of getting things going, and he's going to lead into turn 1 from Boinky's. Boinky's doesn't go for a pass, doesn't go for anything too aggressive into turn 1. It's time now. It's the final stint of the race. The field is close together. And really anything can happen. Obviously no DRS right now because of the recent safety car. But it will be back before the end of the race, and I can bet you with the cars this close together, it's going to be a very interesting end to the race. I'm just worried about those cars that have the aging hards. How much longer until the guys with the fresh tires start coming through this field? Championship leader just off the podium in P4. It's actually interesting to see Moller did jump him when they both came into the pits. They both came into the pits, and at that time Pantry Star was leading from Moller, but when they emerged from the pits, Moller came out in front. Remember, Moller P4 in the championship, so a win today would really get him amongst those McLarens. And we've had a retirement under the safety car. Luckily, luckily it doesn't activate another one. But Chums has retired, and we're up to 5 DNFs on the night. Lap 15 of 22. I'm not quite sure here, but wait, okay. Did that trigger a safety car? I'm pretty sure the safety car was coming into the pits, and then, well, we're still under safety car. Lap 15 of 22, and there's not going to be much racing at the end. It's going to be a very short race at the end, and I think everybody that's chosen to go in, get a fresh set of softs, They've got the best chance, and I wonder if there's something wrong here now. Essa becomes the latest retirement. Trying to look for a stationary car on the track map, but I simply don't see it. Let's see if we get any evidence of a stricken Alfa Romeo on the circuit. Well, no. So I don't know if that was a crash or if that was a glitch or what that issue may have been. But Musa has also now retired. How many safety cars have we had, Madwell? Is this the fourth? Is this the fourth? No, but this just triggered another one, so I don't even know. It's either 4 or 5. So, yeah, if you're spending 2 laps behind each safety car, sometimes 3, I think a third of the race has been at safety car speed. So if you didn't underfuel, you've got a very heavy car. One thing this is doing is my concern that I had for those drivers on the more tired hard compound. I think this might really let the race play into their hands a bit. Keep the track position, and since these laps aren't being done at speed, aren't being done with anger, you're going around frustratingly slow behind a safety car, so it's going to naturally extend the life of those tires. So they might still be able to get to the end of this race quite comfortably. Two races left. Let me just try and confirm that. Just the 2 races left in the calendar. After this we go to Imola, and then for the finale we go to the Red Bull Ring. Fastest lap so far tonight is for Welsh in the Aston Martin. It's a 146.3. The only other driver to get into the 146s is Muller, 146.6. As well as Morgan as well, a 46.4. And as you can see there, Maggot, he hasn't really had the race pace. Look at that, his fastest lap of 49.8, but he's up in P7. And that's what a safety car can do. Safety car will be in this lap, and hopefully it's for the final time in this race, and we'll get a 5 lap. How many laps is this going to be to the end? 4 laps to the end? 5 laps to the end. We're having a 5 lapper, everybody. You did all that practice. You did that qualifying session. That whole first and middle stint of the race. And it's all going to come down to an online 5 lapper. Penalties. Welsh has a 3-second penalty, as does Top Gun and Tylee Boy. Guys have been pretty behaved on the penalties. Just 3 drivers falling into the penalties column. And Boinkies leads the way at the restart. How many restarts have there been? Pantry Star in P2, that is your championship leader. What has happened to Muller? He's gone down the field. He's lost 5 positions. Not quite sure what happened there, but Muller, remember, he was ahead of Pantry Star. We were talking about how he jumped him in the pits. But he's now down in P8. And that's not where he wants to be for his championship aspirations. He needs to get up amongst the McLarens today. Needs to make use of that double retirement. Things really close. Remember, we just had a whole bunch of safety cars. These guys have not been able to open up any sort of gaps to each other. And pretty soon, hopefully, we will get DRS. And then interesting things may happen. When there's this many cars close together at the end of the race, it really comes down to, have you managed your battery? Because everyone has DRS cancelling each other out. One man who's not worried about DRS is the championship leader and the leader of round 8 here in Spa. 1.6 seconds up the road. And well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Wow. I said Monday had a few safety cars. Well, Wednesday. You guys weren't happy with the 5-lapper. It wasn't exciting enough. You were like, you know what? Let's do a 3-lapper to the end. Or a 2-lapper to the end. One thing this safety car will do is anybody who's out there will maybe just in the back of their mind be thinking of a roll of the dice, but the problem is there's been so many safety cars that the field is already compressed. So if you were to pit now, very likely you would come out at the back of the field in P12, and even if you did have this superior compound, that's a lot of overtaking in just 2 or 3 laps, depending what we get at the end here. Can anyone in the comment section confirm how many safety cars? Is this the 5th safety car or the 4th safety car? And we have not had any virtuals. It's quite interesting. Seen 1 or 2 incidents that I didn't think were worthy of a safety car, maybe a virtual for half a lap or so, but tonight we've got what appears to be 4 safety cars. And remember, one triggered right after the other. The safety car was coming in that lap, and then somebody retired and the safety car came back out. So if you weren't paying attention and you were thinking, wow, the safety car period is long, no, it wasn't. It was 2 safety car periods immediately after each other, and as long as I've been commentating on this game, I've never seen that. So late in this game's life, and you still get to experience new things. Haven't seen any confirmation of safety car in, so we're going to have another lap behind the safety car. This will obviously be the start of lap 19. I'm sure the safety car will be in on the next lap. That will be the start of lap 20, which means we're going to get a shootout at the end of this. Nothing to report at the moment, as the race is neutralized, as it has been for maybe 50% of the race. I'm not sure at this stage. Pantry Star will lead the race when that safety car eventually comes in. He's got 10 lap old hards, but luckily for him, there's a lot of cars behind him before you get the soft runners. So he's not at immediate threat. If he had a car behind him with fresh softs, I'd say the challenge is on. But Pantry Star leads and Boinky's on a lap of 14 lap old hard. So I don't know if he's going to be attacking for the lead or just trying to hold things together till the end of the race. Going to have a 3-lap shootout to the end of this, and I'm almost certain now we're going to get the notification. If we don't get the notification, well, then this game is trying to make this sprint even shorter. Safety cars in this lap confirmation. We'll get a 3-lap sprint to the end, and I wonder how things are going to end up. The cars there at the front, look at their tyre usage, all high use tyres. Morgan 11 lap old mediums, Cyber 11 lap old mediums, Boinky's 14 laps. That's the highest tyre usage on the circuit. And Pantry Star leading on 10 lap old hards. Then behind them, the likes of Moller, Rockwar, Top Gun, Spikes, Tiley Boy, Ace of Pace, a lot of quick names, and all of them on fresh softs. It's going to be about this restart. It's going to be about the momentum. He needs to get the momentum again. He had a good momentum at the last restart, opened up the gap to over a second, and now he needs to do it all over again. Make sure nobody can stay within a second of him. Nobody can use the draft. Nobody can use the DRS. If DRS comes back in this race, probably will right towards the end of things. But for now, Pantry Star doing enough. Boinky's P2, 15 lap old hards now. Cyber into P3. And he's trying to hold on to that P3, but I think Maggot is coming through. There we go. We mentioned all those drivers on softs. Maggot is the one that's coming through that field so far. He's up into P3 and he's half a second down the road from Boinky's. And he'll know Pantry Star is getting away quick. So if he wants to utilize the advantage he gets out of those soft tires, he needs to clear this Mercedes as quickly and as cleanly as possible. And that's exactly what he's done. It's going to be an interesting end to the race here. It looked like Pantry Star was in control of things. But that is not the case, because now Maggot up into P2 on a fresh set of softs versus an aging set of hards. And now let's watch that gap. Does it come down? Does it go up? Does Pantry have more in his pocket? More that he can just reach for when he absolutely needs it. So far for the last sector or so, that gap has hovered around 1.8 seconds. Now at 2 seconds. So initially Maggot not able to make any impact. And that's because Ace of Pace at the back of the field, he's just set the fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately for him, he's in P11. So he needs to get into the points, not only to score a point, but to get that fastest lap point. I think he knows that, and that's why he's all over the back of the Williams. Almost thought we were going to see a Mark Webber up Radeon. But I think we've had enough incidents tonight. Guys feeling a little bit tentative at this stage. Man, he's not tentative. He's managed this perfectly. He's managed this championship perfectly. He's managed this race perfectly. He was at the front of the field at the right time. And that means he was at the front of the field at the end. Doesn't matter if you're at the front of the field in the beginning or how long you're at the front of the field. So long as you get it right at the end. And that's what Pantry Star has been able to do. He's going to pick up another 25 points. And what was a very slim championship lead of 1 point. That will look very different after tonight. Had a retirement. Luckily very late in the race, and there will be no time for a safety car. Just a yellow flag for the time being, but is that more than one car? Seemed like that was just an Alpine retiring from the race. So just the 10 runners remain. Everyone who finishes this race, everyone who finishes this lap will pick up points. Corner cutting, 5 seconds for Rakwa. That's a big one. Pantry Star leads the way on the final lap. The gap is 1.5 seconds, so it's starting to come down now. But I wonder if just a little too late. Something very dramatic would have to happen. Cyber comfortably now into P3. Boinky's just starting to go the wrong way in that order. He'll be very grateful that this is the final lap. Because another few laps on that set of tyres and he would have been swallowed up by the field. Fake caution. I hope that's not another retirement. Everybody seems to be moving, but we do have an Aston Martin at the back of the field. So somebody had an incident on lap 22. Incidents from beginning to end. Call it close racing of a different kind. How many times can you say the top 10 finished within 15 seconds of each other? That's a close race. It doesn't matter about the circumstances. People often forget about the circumstances. They just read the result. Over the line to take the victory, championship leader, and now he's extended that championship lead. Pantry Star takes the victory. He's followed by Maggot. Made the right choice, went onto the softs, but unlike his compatriots who did exactly the same thing, he was able to come through that field and make the most of them. Thanks for the comms, Skull. No problem. Glad you guys enjoy the commentary. We now just await those official results. Don't want to read in the results before the penalties are set. Thanks, Death Queen. Here we go. These are some interesting podium celebrations. Imagine the drivers really did this and someone pulled a hammy. I think that would be quite entertaining. So there's your official results. Pantry Star qualified in pole position, finished the race in P1, picks up 25 points on the night. Then Maggot P2, Cyber finishing up the podium in P3. Then we have Boinky's P4, is followed by Moller, Captain Morgan, Top Gun, Ace of Pace, Rakwa, and Welsh. Your final finisher and your final points finisher. DNFs for tonight? Well, almost half the field. Tyler Boy, Spikes, Gotzi, Essa, Chums, Skull, Mr. Rem, Loki, and Andre did not get to see the checkered flag. Guys, to everyone who's watching this back home, to everyone who's joined in the comment section and interacted with the race and interacted with me, I thank you very much. If this is a repeat viewing, if this is your first time, I hope to see you again. and I will see you soon. Cheers, guys.